Right now at noon, the search continues for those still missing after deadly tornadoes hit the southeast. And the president slams congressional Democrats, what he's saying about their new investigation. Plus, sisters from California rely on their skills to survive getting lost in a heavily wooded area for nearly 2 days.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at noon.
I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now on this Tuesday afternoon. We'll get to those stories in a bit, but first, let's head over to the Weather Center. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield has a look at our first alert forecast. So it sure looks nice, that image behind you there, Dave.
Yeah, and temperatures are warmer already today. However, we're still barely at 10 degrees, and we're about 20 degrees below where we should be for this time of year. We've had the sunshine, though, so far throughout this Tuesday. A live look on the WISC-TV Skycam in Madison, showing a few more clouds showing up. I think we'll see increasing clouds throughout this afternoon. Even a few scattered flurries not out of the question in spots. So we're up to 14 degrees, west-northwest wind at 16 miles per hour, still making it feel like it's below zero, and it's felt like below zero for the past 2 to 3 days or so. We'll continue with that trend into much of this afternoon. Temperatures in some other spots, 16 in Janesville, 15 in Boscobel, and 13 in Platteville, but wind chills are at or below zero in many spots across southern Wisconsin early this afternoon. So your day planner in Madison, clouds on the increase, so we'll see mostly cloudy skies later this afternoon with temperatures staying in the middle teens for highs, and we'll dip into the single digits closer to zero as we start off Wednesday. We are slowly warming up throughout this week, so we'll talk more about that, plus what to expect with a weekend weather maker on the way in your News 3 Now First Alert forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, we'll see you then. Thank you, sir. This week's winter cold has turned deadly here in Wisconsin. The Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's Office is investigating the death of a man found frozen inside a car on Sunday. The temperature that day, 17 degrees. And a 23-year-old man from North Dakota was also found dead after getting lost outside his hotel in negative 10-degree weather. Thousands of people in the southeast are starting to clean up following the country's deadliest tornado outbreak in nearly 6 years. Dozens of tornadoes hit Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina on Sunday. At least 23 people died in Beauregard, Alabama. The National Weather Service says an EF4 tornado was one of possibly 2 tornadoes that ripped through Lee County, Alabama, with winds of 170 miles per hour. It is the deadliest twister since the 2013 disaster in Moore, Oklahoma.
At least 24 miles long. I estimated the path width at 0.87 miles, or almost a mile wide.
Rescue workers have been searching the damage using canines and drones to look for many that are still missing. The city of Reedsburg is hosting 2 meetings this month to discuss the flood recovery planning process. The meetings are being hosted with support from FEMA. People can discuss ways to lessen flood damages in the future. The focus will be on the flood-prone areas along West Main Street and along North Webb Avenue. The meetings will be at the Westside Elementary School on March 7th and 9th. Well, Democrats are ramping up their investigations into President Trump, and the White House is pushing back, calling the new investigations disgraceful and abusive. Nicole Killian has more details from Capitol Hill.
President Trump initially had this response to a sweeping new congressional investigation.
I cooperate all the time with everybody.
The House Judiciary Committee is requesting documents from 81 individuals and entities connected to President Trump. The president let out his frustration on Twitter this morning, saying Nadler, Schiff, and the Dem heads of the committees have gone stone cold crazy. 81 letters sent to innocent people to harass them. And he added, presidential harassment.
The president obviously doesn't recognize the role of Congress in a democratic system.
House Judiciary Chairman Jerry Nadler says his committee is working to fulfill its oversight responsibilities.
Our goal is to hold the administration accountable for the obstruction of justice, the abuse of power, and the corruption.
Democrats in the House are also expanding their efforts to look into President Trump's relationship with Russian President Vladimir Putin. House Democrats are digging into a conversation between President Trump and Putin in Helsinki last year.
We want to know what went on in the meeting where Putin and Trump were alone. Why can't we know what happened there? Why wasn't anybody allowed to be there? makes you wonder, what does Putin have on Donald Trump?
Monday, lawmakers sent letters to the White House and State Department demanding all documents and communications, regardless of form and classification, that refer or relate to any communications between President Trump and President Putin, including in-person meetings and telephone calls. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Democrats are also asking the State Department interpreter who was in the room to testify in public and turn over her notes. That's something the White House is expected to fight back against. State records show 11 of Governor Evers' top aides are being paid at least 10% more than their predecessors under former Governor Scott Walker. In total, 27 of Evers' aides were set to make $3.5 million this year. That's about $200,000 more than the equivalent Walker aides were making, for a 6% increase. A spokesperson for Evers says he believes in fair compensation for the professionals who choose to serve our communities. And for the second time in history, a patient appears to have been cured of an HIV infection. Researchers in London say a man appears to be free of the virus after a stem cell transplant 18 months ago. The unknown patient was originally treated for leukemia and received a bone marrow transplant. Some experts caution this approach is risky and not feasible. Well, after missing for 44 hours, two sisters from California are safe and back home. The girls are 8 and 5 years old. They were walking around their family's 80-acre property when they went past a marked area they were allowed to explore alone. Authorities say they used the expert skills taught to them by their parents to survive, like drinking water off leaves and using a large branch for shelter. They were found Sunday by members of a search party.
They did the right thing. I mean, they might have wandered off, but they stuck together and they pulled themselves through. They saved each other.
The girls were taken to the hospital for evaluation. They were given pizza and released with clean bills of health. Well, today marks Party Day in New Orleans. Fat Tuesday, or Mardi Gras, marks the final day of the carnival season, which began on January 6th. Festivities began early in the morning and will last until midnight. The party officially ends then when police on horseback ride down Bourbon Street to ceremonially clean the streets. It's a symbol meant to mark the end of the carnival season. Tomorrow marks the beginning of Lent, which for many Christians is a period of fasting and reflection ahead of Easter. There's no fasting here at noon. Up next, we're going to see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
You can order what we're making today at some fancy Italian restaurant, but when you see how easy and budget-friendly it is to make at home, you won't need to. When it comes to making dinner, nothing beats a recipe that uses off-the-shelf ingredients, is easy to make, and that tastes great. That's why today we're making a dish that combines fresh veggies with a convenient frozen shortcut. It's a tasty Mediterranean classic that's weeknight easy. The first thing we do is prepare a package of frozen cheese-stuffed ravioli according to the package instructions. We'll let that drain. And in some olive oil, we'll cook fresh tomatoes and onions that we've chopped, along with some garlic, oregano, and a bit of salt and pepper. After the tomatoes start to break down a bit, we add in the cooked ravioli, fresh spinach, and a few black olives. When the spinach starts to wilt, it's ready to serve. It doesn't get any easier. A little crumbled feta cheese goes on top, and that's it. You've got a fancy-tasting restaurant classic that's 5-star worthy. To get the recipe for our Mediterranean ravioli with feta, all you have to do is visit our website. As for the taste, well, the ravioli are crazy tender. The sauce is packed with flavor, and the cheese gives it just the right tang. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a rave-worthy way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Thank you, Howard. The sun is shining. That's the good news, but it's still very cold outside. Dave joins us after the break with what we can expect when things may warm up sometime soon, next at noon. Well, Target shares its holiday earnings and the best and worst places for women to work abroad. Here's Diane King Hall with today's Money Watch report.
Target had its busiest holiday shopping season in more than a decade. The retailer says profit totaled $799 million during the crucial shopping period. The number was much better than expected, and a key sales figure jumped thanks in part to online sales growth. The FDA is accusing 15 national retailers of selling tobacco products to minors. The retailers include Walgreens, Walmart, and some gas station chains. The agency says it's considering several options to address the violations. The FDA also sent letters to dozens of companies that may be illegally marketing tobacco products or e-cigarettes. Carlos Ghosn is granted bail. A Japanese court said the former chief executive of Nissan and Renault could be released from jail on $9 million bail on the condition he remain in the country. Prosecutors have appealed the decision. The auto exec is awaiting trial on charges he underreported his income. And with International Women's Day coming later this week, there is a new list of the best and worst countries for women to work abroad. Leading the annual Expat Insider list is the Czech Republic, where a whopping 83% of women say they are happy with their jobs. It's followed by Bahrain and Taiwan, while Greece and Italy are at the bottom of the list. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Diane King Hall.
All right, Diane, thank you. Let's check Wall Street. The Dow Industrial is down about 1.5 points. The NASDAQ up almost 2. The S&P 500 down 2. All over the board there. Let's check in now with Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee on this Tuesday. How are you?
Bad, not bad. Happy to see the sunshine, even if it doesn't do much to warm us up. I think now everybody's starting to get a little bit more of a focus on what's coming our way spring-wise as far as weather and field activities, and that includes the folks in the marketplace, Mark. Today they're talking about the disruption that we're seeing as far as barge traffic on the Mississippi River. Although we're still froze up here in the upper Midwest, farther south they've been seeing a little bit more thawing, and then you put in that severe weather that came through a lot of the south over the weekend, and they actually had to open up some spillways down towards New Orleans to allow for the excess water. But this is really goofing up the barge traffic. And remember, it's not just about us trying to get our grain down to the Gulf ports so that they can put them on international shipping containers and get them out. It's also about those barges returning to the north with some of the spring inputs that we need, like fertilizer. So everything is kind of disrupted, and the market's talking about it today. Of course, we're always keeping an eye on any progress of any type as far as field work farther south, but so far that's not really enough to move the needle. Here at home, we still got a couple more weeks before we'll be doing much. Why not take advantage of some of the upcoming events? Today is the beginning of the U.S. Champion Cheese Contest. That's going to be up in Green Bay. I'll be up there on Thursday for the grand finale. And speaking of Thursday is also the day for the Yahara Pride Farms annual winter conference. It's going to be this Thursday in DeForest at what was formerly the Comfort Inn there. And again, I'm just reminding folks, starts about 10:30 with registration. Should be a great conference. It is Thursday, in case you're one of the folks that received a mailer with a misprint there. On the close today, barrel cheese unchanged at $1.43. 40-pound block cheese also unchanged at $1.57. And sure as you know it, Mark, butter, which we thought was going to be our salvation yesterday, down 4.5 cents today. Gave up everything it gained yesterday, back down to $2.29.5 per pound. So
up and down we go.
We got to look away, buddy. We got to look away. If we watch it, it's like a boiling pot of water. It ain't going to do it.
We'll be working till we're 85 at this rate.
Probably.
All right, Pam, thank you.
Yep.
Let's head over to the Weather Center. Dave Caulfield, hopefully a warm-up in sight.
A slow warm-up at that, Mark, that's for sure. At least we have had the sunshine so far on this Tuesday. As Pam said, not really doing much to our temperatures just yet, but it's not looking too bad outside. Unfortunately, we're not going to have the sunshine for that much longer this afternoon. On Weather Track, you can see the clouds really increasing quickly from the north. A weak cold front is on the way that could provide some scattered flurries later this afternoon for southern Wisconsin. I don't expect many impacts with that round of potential light snow, so that's good news. But I do think that our temperatures are going to be capped this afternoon with the clouds coming in over the next hour or two. And temperatures really have been capped in the single digits over the past 24 hours or so, with highs yesterday not very warm at all. Today, at least, we've gotten into the double digits above zero this early afternoon. In Madison, we could see partly cloudy skies right now on the Edgewater Skycam, partly sunny, I should say. Let's emphasize that sunshine. So far, our high has been 14 for today. I think we'll get a few more degrees out of that, but not that much more in the way of high temperatures. And that's still about 20 to 25 degrees below where we should be for this time of year. We started off at 0 this morning. 16 in Janesville, 14 in Watertown, 14 as well in the Dells, 15 in Lone Rock, and closer to Camp Douglas at 12 right now. Wind chills have been below zero for for much of the last 48 hours or so, and I think that trend will continue. We may get maybe 1 or 2 degrees above zero in the wind chill department, but really not looking at any major relief in this category until we get to later tomorrow morning. And we do have 15 days to go until spring. So that's something that we can focus on. It has been a good month to month and a half for all the winter sports activities, though. So that's another positive that we can focus on. And we're focusing on the clouds on the increase over the next few hours for southern Wisconsin. Again, some flurries not out of the question, but shouldn't impact us all that much. Temperatures will fall through the single digits, close to zero as we start off Wednesday, with wind chills of about -5 to -10 possible. Then highs will be closer to 20 as we head into Wednesday as that slow warm-up begins. So similar story on our wind chill map, staying just below zero for this afternoon and really staying in the -5 to -10 range as we get into tomorrow morning. We start to notice the negative sign drop from those numbers, and that's good news. And as temperatures warm up this weekend, we could be looking at highs in the 30s and 40s. We welcome in a mixed precipitation system, starting off with some rain on Saturday, could be ending with some snow on Sunday, so we're watching that closely. And that is during the time change, keep in mind, when we spring forward an hour Saturday night into Sunday. And then temperatures will stay a little bit below normal as we head into the start of next week, but at least we're not talking about many single digits as we head into that time period. So the weather, like the markets, like a lot of things this time of year, a little bit all over the place.
Slowly but surely.
Yes, we'll get there eventually.
I'm sure we will, Dave. Thank you. Our Cheese of the Month coming up. Stay with us. Angie Edge from Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin is back. Welcome.
Thank you.
March Madness right around the corner.
Yes.
Lots of TV watching and parties going on.
Absolutely. And for March Madness, we have a slam dunk recipe for you today, Mark. And it is the super loaded sheet pan nachos. So the perfect party food for your March Madness viewing.
I'm sold.
And it only takes like 10 minutes to put together.
Okay.
It has 3 types of award-winning cheeses that we're going to put in first. So we're featuring a local company today, Cedar Grove, with 3 types of Wisconsin cheeses. So first, Mark, I'm going to have you put on some of the Wisconsin Havarti. So you're going to start with a cooking sheet, line it with parchment paper and your favorite tortilla chips.
So just not heated up yet?
As much as you'd like, yeah.
Okay.
First, we'll put the cheese on.
So this is what, Havarti?
This is Havarti.
Okay.
It has a very meltable, it's very sweet, nutty.
I bet this is cheddar.
This is cheddar. Of course, Wisconsin leads the nation in cheddar cheese. And then lastly, we have a Monterey Jack with some jalapeno peppers to add a little bit of kick to the recipe.
But you can use whatever cheese you like.
You can use whatever you like. These are the 3 that it calls for, mostly because they are made by Wisconsin master cheesemakers, and this is a company that's won over 50 awards.
Where are they located?
In Plain, Wisconsin.
Okay.
So always looking for
right
that
down the road.
Wisconsin cheese mark. Then we're going to add on some black beans. Everybody loves some black beans on their nachos. Add a little bit more color and spice. We have some peppers as well. And really, you can add in whatever you like. And then we have some olives. And then basically, you're going to put this in the oven and cook it until the cheese melts for about 10 minutes. And then it starts oozing all the way through. And then the fun part is to add all the garnishes. So we added some banana peppers, some avocado, sliced cilantro, green onions, you name it. Even some more dairy with some sour cream, salsa. Can't wait for you to try it. A great lunch. That's a loaded, super loaded nachos.
This looks delicious. Yeah, this is absolutely wonderful. Half hour? How long?
Just like 10 minutes in the oven. So very simple to make.
Okay,
so
the recipe is online.
You can have enough time to throw them in at halftime. You can find it at wisconsincheese.com.
All right, and good luck up in Green Bay for the cheese.
Yeah, hopefully we have lots more awards to report back.
All right, Ange, thank you. Here's Dave with one final check of the forecast.
Well, this afternoon we are still chilly outside with temperatures in the teens for highs. Some scattered flurries are possible.
All right, thanks for watching.